Hi, welcome to this week's community review. Well, we got a couple of good ones here. And of course, as always, Cthulhu Kitty's here to say hello. But the big question was, what was the most expensive, most money you paid for a game? What game was it and why? Well, for me, the most I've ever paid for a game was getting a second edition of Warhammer Quest. The reason I wanted it was I wanted the extra figures, and it came with some of the expansions that if I paid for the expansion alone it would have cost a fortune unto itself. So I paid $350 for a Warhammer Quest and all the expansions, and plus I got extra sheets and I just wanted all the old models. So for me it was worth it, and I think I did that about a year ago. Now, I've always had my original one. I just wanted more stuff because it's one of my favorite games of all time. Where? I guess we'll have to find out someday if I ever do a countdown list. But that is the most I ever paid. But I have a whole host of other people that are on, and why don't we take a look and see what they had to say for this question? Let's check it out.
Hey Rob, hey everybody. I'm Kurt, aka Driven Gamer, and this time I did not have much time, so this time I won't be doing something special or original. I'm just going to talk about the most expensive game or games that I have in my collection, or the games I spent the most money on. Now, for this episode, I was thinking about dividing this into different types of game, because I want to talk about three different kind of games actually, that have something to do with being a little bit too expensive. Now, first that I want to talk about is a game that I actually own. That is one game, and that was for me the most expensive one. Now, I don't tend to spend that much money on one game because I always consider buying expensive games, but in the end, well, I mostly don't do it, and I buy a few smaller games there, so I have more games for the same amount of money. But this time this one I bought out of nostalgia, because I already had this game in the past and I borrowed it to someone, and I have no idea who I borrowed it to. And well, now there is a new edition, so it's a brand new game. You have seen this quite a bit on Rob's channel, this game, and I think there will be many more videos about the game. And of course, you could already guess it was Blood Bowl. Now, Blood Bowl is, as I said, a game that I have been owning for a while. This is the new edition, edition 6, well, the 2016 edition, maybe it's 5th edition, I have no idea, but the 2016 edition, which I think was about $105 for the base game. And I also bought the Dead Zone expansion book and the Skaven expansion pack, which added more to that cost, but only the base game I think was $105. And I also had to pay some shipping, I think. So, not the cheapest game. This is my most expensive game that I have in my collection, the most expensive base game. So that was part 1 of this episode for me. I'm back. Now, let's talk about a second game, and that's one I don't have yet. And I mean, that's a game that I backed on Kickstarter. And that's the most expensive game that I will have in my collection, but at this moment I don't have it yet. And the game that I'm talking about, and I'll try to put a picture right over here, is Darkest Night 2nd Edition. This one I backed, and it will be arriving somewhere in 2017. First date they said was March, probably will be later. That's the way Kickstarter works, and that's why Rob is not a fan of Kickstarter, which is understandable. But this one cost me 149 euros dollars, because I wanted the miniatures with it. So as soon as this game arrives, it will be my most expensive game in my collection. Or is it? Because if you count games that come with expansions, or games that are a lifestyle game, as they say, like Magic the Gathering. Now, if you count Magic the Gathering, then Magic the Gathering is by far my most expensive game. I played this when I was 17, I think I started playing. It was a revised edition at that time. I started playing, I played it for many years. I also stopped playing for many years already now, but I still have my complete collection here, which consists of these multiple binders with all my most precious Magic cards. And if I say multiple binders, then I'm talking about multiple ones, multiple maps with these cards. Now, this box is empty, but I have 2 boxes filled with cards on my attic, which I did not want to carry down because they're so heavy. And besides that, I have some lying around everywhere in the house. So I don't have any clue how much money I spent on this game, but it was a lot. Not $149 like Darkest Night. No, you can multiply the number by, I have no idea. And if I don't want to know, because I would be a little bit embarrassed, I think. Anyway, those are my most expensive games. Now, I want to mention one more game, and that's, well, at this moment, the infamous, the notorious Kingdom Death Monster, which is on Kickstarter at this moment, and which is just going crazy there. Now, I'm considering backing the base game, which is expensive, $250. At this moment, I don't have the money. I'm selling some stuff. I'm selling some of my board games that I don't play, so I can get rid of them. I won't miss them too much. And if I can get the finances to back it, I might. I might still not back it either, because I'm not sure yet if I want to spend that much money on one game. But the game looks awesome, would be great for a channel, maybe for a playthrough, but I'm still doubting. We'll see. If that happens, you'll certainly find out on my channel, so feel free to visit that one. But for now, stay here with Rob and with the other contributors for community review. Wow, I almost forgot how it was called. Anyway, this was my part for this week. Thanks for watching, and we see you in the future here with community review. Bye.
Hello folks, everyone at Community Review. I'm in disguise this week because we're talking about the most money we ever spent on a game. I don't want my wife to recognise me. Sorry, what was that, dear? Oh, apparently she says she's not that stupid and she already knows how much money I've spent, so there's no point in disguising myself. Oh well folks, sorry about that. So, the most money that I've invested into a game. I have a friend who has certainly invested a lot of money into 52 cards worth of poker, but for me it would be Magic the Gathering, which I haven't had any Magic the Gathering cards for over 20 years, in fact since my daughter was born, and I sold them all. Yeah, a friend of mine said to me, you've got to try this game. He said it's absolutely awesome, and I went out and bought boxes of the stuff, a few packs, and then starter decks, and then boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes with Moxes and Black Lotus. Basically, there was a group of us who were just collecting crazy up until probably about 5th edition came out, and then that was it, we'd had enough. My wife was pregnant, we had a lovely daughter, and I sold the entire collection for a lot of money, which was good. I think I probably have an addiction problem when it comes to collectible games, so I tend to avoid them like the plague. Board games. I would imagine, oh god, the addiction thing comes back again, doesn't it? Kickstarter, Galaxy Defenders, Galaxy Defenders. It was one of those where I thought, I'll back it, and I sort of got in for the second Kickstarter they did, so I ordered the stuff that had previously been out through that Kickstarter, and I was sort of fairly naive at the time, and one pledge led to another that led to another, and then I was buying this, and before I knew where I was buying absolutely everything for it, and that ran to quite a few $100s. So I don't do Kickstarter anymore, or very, very infrequently. So there you go. For me, it would be Magic the Gathering and Galaxy Defenders. Thanks for watching, and I think I'm now going to get shouted at by my wife. Take care, bye.
Hey everyone, so before I start the segment this week, I just want to apologize for any focus issues and sound issues. We did film above on a cruise ship, so there were some unique challenges there and not a lot of being able to check on the things prior. So with that said, I still hope everyone enjoys the segment this week, and I have someone else with me. So let's cut over to that. Hey Rob, hey everybody.
Hey Rob.
Little laugh out.
Yep, we just happened to bump into each other downstairs, and we happened to be talking about Blood Bowl. That's right, Rob. We're talking strategy for Blood Bowl, so you better watch out.
No, he's gonna kill us.
I know.
Alright, so this week's community review we're doing at the Dice Tower Cruise, since we're both here.
Yep.
Beautiful ocean behind us. What we decided to do, the question this week obviously was, what is the game you've spent the most on and why? So what we did first is we actually asked other people to see what they did. So we're going to cut to that real quick, and then we'll be right back.
Alright.
Sure. So what is the most you've ever spent on a board game and why?
Most expensive board game, single board game?
Single board game. Or it could be a
Single board
collection.
game purchase probably was Conan. $500.
Have you played it?
No.
Just got it.
Are you
I
going to
just
paint
got
it?
it like 2.5 weeks ago.
Are you going to paint it?
I want to, but I don't know. I haven't painted any board game yet, so I have to. The first one I've looked at that I actually want to paint is the Walking Dead one. It looks like it would be really well done if you painted.
Okay.
So that may be the first one I actually painted. And I haven't played it either, and I spent like $350 for it.
Are you okay with he spent that much on Conan?
That's all right, as long as he buys something for me and it costs about that much.
Thank you guys. So what is the most you ever spent on a video, on a board game, and why?
Most I've ever spent is $150. It's Massive Darkness, which is Kickstarter, and I kept doing this expansion add-ins, and now it's over $150. I don't know exactly how much anymore. Don't tell Al.
All right, thanks, sir. All right, so what's the most you ever spent on a board game, and why?
I spent over $1,200 on the Cruse Master Kickstarter, and I also went crazy and spent about $1,000 on the Bones first Kickstarter that came out, because I have an addiction with collecting board games.
Are you happy with both of those purchases?
No, I'm not happy with Cruse Master at all.
That's
And the Bones one, I haven't opened the box. The box came, I've had it for 2 years, and I've never opened it.
amazing.
Those are 2 of my 2,700 games.
All right, thank you. Okay, so what's the most you ever spent on a board game, and why?
The most I've ever spent on a board game would be $100, which the same thing, Kickstarter, getting sucked in. So I think the game was Arcadia Quest.
Arcadia Quest?
Inferno, so.
You happy with this?
Yeah,
Good?
it still hasn't come, so it's been over a year, but as soon as it comes, I hope I'm happy.
What about you, sir?
$1,200 for a handmade version of Wacky Witch, which is analog Pac-Man. And my kids love it. It's like it's an amazing piece of art.
So you don't regret that at all? Awesome.
Spectacular.
Perfect. All right, thank you guys. So what is the most you've ever spent on a single board game, and why?
All right, so the most I've ever spent on a single board game is probably 250 to 300. I can't remember the exact amount. It was on Ghostbusters when it was kickstarted. And I got they had a crazy amount of expansions or add-ons. They had all the different characters. They had the Marshmallow Man. They had tons of adventures. And it was Ghostbusters, right? So it was right before the movie that was coming out. And so there was a lot of hype. It was raising a ton of money. So I thought, man, this is going to be a great game. It's one that I've never put to the table. And I've read a ton of reviews on it. And I've read the rules. And that's probably why it hasn't been brought to the table. Is because there were a lot better dungeon crawl games out there than this. It was really simple, and it's one that I regret purchasing. So yeah, my answer would be Ghostbusters.
Sorry to hear that. All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're here with Jessica.
Hi.
What is the most you've ever spent on a board game and why?
Oh, okay. So it was my first big purchase, and I was consulting like all of my friends. I'm like, do I really want to spend $350 on Blood Rage? Because I love the game. I played it, fell in love with it, and like all the guys are like, it's like my guy is on a map, and I can move around, and I can play with him, and I can kind of animate him, and it was just amazing. And I thought, man, it's a good opportunity. All the figures were already painted, like it had all the expansions. It was a Kickstarter thing. The only thing it didn't have was like a couple of things that I was gonna get that I would get at a later time without a problem. But then all of my regular friends were like, "You're nuts! $350 on a board game. Like, do you know how many other board games you could buy with $350?" I'm like, "Yes, but I can't buy that one." You know? And nobody knew had it. Nobody knew owned it. Like it wasn't like I could play with anybody else's copy. And so I then started talking to some of my other friends that were board gaming people, and they're like, "Yeah, you need to do it. You need to do it. You need to do it." I was like, all right, I did it. It was like the best thing I ever did. I don't regret a single penny of it. I love it. So.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was. It was great. Everybody, that's crazy. I got to spend $1,200 on that wacky whip. Kids love it. So that's what's important. That is. It is. I was a little disappointed in the Blood Bowl one for 360. I mean, the Blood Rage. Blood Rage. Exactly. I know. But not everyone can do so that's fine. So what about you? What game have you spent the most on? Well, mine is simple. Mine was Mega Civilization. I dropped about a little over 200 on that one because to me, Advanced Civilization was one of the best games I've ever played. It really got me into the gaming. Back when I was in high school, we would dedicate 2-3 weekends a month, and me and about 6 guys, and we would love to play Advanced Civilization. Start at 9 a.m., end at 9 p.m. Fantastic days. Absolutely loved it. So to me, it was really simple. The Mega Civ came out. There was no doubt in my mind that's where I was going to go. So while I've only played it once, and that's only with 6 people, I can't wait to get 18 players at the table. And hey, maybe there's somebody in Florida who might like some Mega Civilization. I'll look around.
Weirdly enough, Advanced Civilization is my favorite game of all time, but I do not have Mega Civ because the components to me were not very well upgraded, and I've killed a better copy. But it is my favorite game of all time. So mine, on the other hand, was Season 2 of Zombies. Ooh, the Kickstarter version.
Yes.
And I spent about $350 all total, which is kind of sad given that I ended up playing it once and not liking it. The reason I bought it was I had recently just gotten Zombicide, and I was super just excited about having it, and so the Season 2 Kickstarter was just starting, and I didn't want to miss out on it. So I backed it full, all the exclusives, everything, and everyone I knew was excited about it, so I was like, this is going to be amazing. Finally came in, we put it at the table, and it felt like it, as I've talked about, it just made everything complicated in a way that the original didn't for me. The exclusives, most of them still remain in their shrink wrap. I am actually passing that on now. Some people know that I'm actually going to be putting it in the box of goodness.
Oh, wonderful.
Everything except just the expansion on that. The Season 2, a bunch of exclusives, a great song is out, unfortunately. So I ended up regretting my purchase of Zombicide Season 2 for that reason. but it was luckily for me the most I've ever spent. Now I have spent a good amount on some games, and that in Descent I've obviously spent a lot over the years. I will also admit that Terra Mystica, I spent $145 on my copy because at the time it was out of print. It came back into print 4 months later at $35.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't regret that one bit.
You have anything that you regret? Or?
No, I didn't regret it. I've spent a lot on Imperial Assault, which is a game I don't normally get to play. I play a lot of 2 players, so I don't get to play that. But when they come out with the app, I might get to use a little bit more of my Imperial Assault stuff, so I have put a good amount into that. But Mega Civ, it sits on my desk, it sits on my shelf, collects a lot of dust because it's so big. So no, I don't get to play it a lot, but for me it was more of a nostalgia thing. And, you know, champs once, so it worked out okay.
I'm sure you'll bet you did. I did 9 to 9, 12 hours, that's a short sip.
It's not too bad. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We got pretty good at it.
We called games in about 17 hours.
Yeah,
before,
so see,
so that's okay.
We just don't do that as much anymore. Nobody devotes those entire day to gaming, which I really enjoy. I think it makes for a great afternoon and evening, and next morning sometimes.
All right, well, we should get back to this cruise. We should. Beautiful ship in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
So we wrap this up here. We look forward to seeing what the next community review will be, and what everyone else spent all their money on.
Right.
That I'm really looking forward to.
Very interesting.
Rob, I'm pretty sure for you it's all that Blood Bowl, but okay. All right, so we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Well, there you go. Another community review in the can. What'd you think? Did you like it? I thought the guys did a great job. I especially liked the whole cruise thing. It looked like they were having fun. Maybe a little bit too much fun. I hope they didn't go dancing together. That'd be a little weird. What do you think? Yeah? Okay. Special shout out to my boy, Board Game Renegade. I hope everything goes well. You're in my thoughts. And we're going to take a couple weeks off. But tomorrow when we do our vlog, we are going to be actually telling you what the next subject is. So if you have a chance, anywhere from 30 seconds to as long as you want, you could be a part of the community review, and we would love to have you. Tomorrow we'll have a vlog. This week you'll probably see War Quest. I think we're going to do that. And we're going to do a few other games. Justin and I are going to be quite busy. Look for a double Wednesday where it's going to be War and Pieces and Painting with Rob on the Dice Tower. Dice Tower only. So we're only going to be investing an hour each. We're not going to do it on this channel. On this channel, we'll be back kind of here and there during the week. But expect to see us over the holidays, as we'll be doing a ton of stuff since I'm going to be off for a while. So I'm going to really be producing some stuff while I have the chance. So we will be doing and finishing Doom and everything else that we're going to do. Well, with that said, I hope you guys have a great week. Look for more content from us. And until next time, I'm Rob Warren. And from everybody, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.